adventure, sports, outdoors. With host Harry Canterbury.
There I was, back in the wild again, and I felt right at home where I belong. I had that feeling coming over me again, just like it happened so many times before. Yeah.
Hi, Harry Canterbury with another edition of Adventure Sports Outdoors. Join us today for part 3 of our Iwo Jima survivors of Central Illinois. Our next gentleman is Charles Brown, or Chuck Brown as they call him, owner of Sheridan Road Lumber Company in Peoria, Illinois. He's had a great life, has a great family, but he also has a great resume of being a Marine during World War II on the island of Iwo Jima. We also have a small part, wish it could be longer, of a very special person to me and to my wife's stepfather, who was on Tinian, Okinawa, and in the Marshall Islands. Saw some of the thickest fighting that could be done there and survived it. He had a wonderful life, has a great family, and I was part of it, of his extended family, and we loved him very, very much. He was just really a fantastic man and a fine example of what they refer to as the greatest generation. So stay tuned today for an interesting show and a real special thank you to you guys out there that were there.
Adventure Sports Outdoors, brought to you in part by Corsaw Lumber, manufacturers of quality hardwood products, buyers of standing timber in Smithfield, Central Pool Supply, everything from pools to pool tables and much more in Peoria on West Pioneer Parkway. Michael O'Brien Commercial Real Estate and Recreational Ground, Remax Unlimited Commercial. Kelleher's Irish Pub and Eatery, located on Peoria's riverfront, open 11 a.m. daily. And by Allwyn & Sons Meat Company. Our thanks to all of these sponsors.
As you know, we're doing a series on Marines that fought in the Pacific. We had Carl Schmidt last month, and now we're with another Marine, but this Marine is in our family. Milford V. Harrell from Marion, Illinois, originally from the little town of Elkville, just north of Carbondale. And in 1943, while he was attending the University of Illinois, he decided to join the United States Marine Corps. And now we're going to talk to Doc, as he's known to everyone, about the events and what happened during his time with the Marine Corps. Doc, why did you go into the Marine Corps?
Because the reputation of the Marines.
You figured they were the best and you were going to be the best.
Best.
Even back then they were considered
the best.
The very best.
Yes.
That's right. Where did you go to basic training at?
San Diego, Marine Base.
Then you went to Pendleton?
Then went to Pendleton and Camp Elliott, at rifle range. I was there just about a year.
So you guys went from San Diego straight to the Marshall Islands?
Yes.
Did you disembark to go on the island? Off the ship?
Yes.
You did?
Yeah.
Did you guys go in Higgins boats?
Higgins boats. When I went in, Higgins boats had ramps to let them down.
So were you guys on the first wave, or you guys came in after the island was taken?
Second or third wave.
Second or third wave.
Yeah.
Was there anything going on when you hit the beach? Were they shooting at you guys or not?
Yes. There was shooting at us.
Did you guys take cover, or did you guys get in the bunkers, or?
Bunkers.
So you got in bunkers.
You got
And then what transpired after that?
What transpired after that was I was scared to death. Okay. I went to Okinawa.
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 Okinawa had already been taken by then?
No, it wasn't fit to be taken. I was second wave and on Okinawa.
In Okinawa.
Yeah.
What was that like? What did you see there? What was going on?
They had caves, various caves, and we thought they would contest what just off the beach, but they didn't.
So they didn't hit you on the beach?
No.
They waited
No.
till you got in?
And waited. We went all the way across the island.
Before you ran into them?
Yeah.
You got shot at many times then?
Yeah.
The bullets whizzing over your head?
Yeah.
Did they ever surrender?
No.
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 They fought to the death.
Yeah.
So after they took the South in, what'd you do then?
The war ended.
The war ended right then because the Enola Gay was on its way.
Yeah. Enola Gay.
It left Tinian, didn't it?
Huh?
She flew out of Tinian.
Flew out of Tinian.
The one that you were on
Yeah.
earlier.
Yeah.
They established an Air Force base.
Yeah.
What was that like when you got home? Were you glad to see the States?
I got home in November and waited around for school to start. University of Illinois.
And you went back to school?
Yeah, back to school.
And what'd you end up doing all your life?
I was a professional engineer in coal industry.
All your life?
All my life.
Yeah. So, how'd your life finish out, Doc? You got married?
Got married and fine lady, and she died 10 years ago. Had 4 children, and
Well, who's that you're next to now?
Marianne Harrell. We got married 10 years ago.
Okay. And Mary, you guys have had quite a life in Florida the last 10 years, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yes, we live at Fort Myers, Cross Creek Country Club, and play golf and have a lot of friends and have a very, very nice life.
I play the bagpipes, but was unable to do it at Doc's funeral. The pipes weren't working and it wasn't appropriate to do it at the time. So, hey, better late than never. And this is a salute to Doc Harrell and all those guys that didn't make it back.
Hi, I'm Dave Barth with your Sportsman's Tip of the Week. We've talked about concealed carry in the past. It's as popular now as it ever has been. Here's some new examples of some concealed carry handguns. Here's a few examples of some new semi-automatics. If you're going to practice a little bit, a semi-automatic would be a good choice. They require a little more effort than a revolver. The first one here is a Ruger LC9S. It's a small, compact 9mm, made in the USA. The next one is a Sig Sauer. It's a P938 9mm. They also make them in a 380. Right next to that, we have a pistol from Springfield Armory in Geneseo, Illinois. This is an XDS 9mm. They come with a hard case and 2 magazines. They also make them in a 40 caliber. A couple of nice revolvers are Smith & Wessons. This is a titanium cylinder 337, real lightweight. And right next to it, at a more economical price, is a Smith & Wesson Model 637 with an alloy frame. I'm Dave Barth. That's been your Sportsman's Tip of the Week.
My good friend Bruce Brown is a Marine, and I thought it only appropriate for him to do this interview. These gentlemen know him very well, and it just was a real good match. Charles Brown fought at Iwo Jima, was wounded at Iwo Jima, and came home and had a wonderful life, and he's still having a wonderful life at 91 years old. Also, his wife, his lovely wife of over 70 years, will be with him, and she'll tell us a little bit about what it's like to have your husband thousands of miles away and waiting and waiting until his return. I think you'll enjoy this.
Good evening. I'm Corporal Bruce Brown, United States Marine Corps, and I'm privileged. No, I have that wrong. I'm honored tonight to be sitting with a couple that are bona fide American heroes. And I need to say, as I introduce both Chuck Brown and his wife Eleanor for 71 years, Chuck Brown, Bruce Brown, we're not related. Well, let me correct myself again. We are related. Couple generations apart, but we are, sir, brothers in bond, United States Marine Corps, now and forever. It's a great privilege and honor to be sitting tonight and have you tell us your story of the Battle of Iwo Jima. It's December 7th, 1941, and I'm guessing, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, word is coming across the, we didn't have television then, so it would be the radio and so on and so forth. There's a buzz going around town. December 7th, 1941, what was Chuck Brown doing in Peoria, Illinois then?
Well, I was a high school dropout, and I got a job down at Schultz Bakery. I was working at the bakery when it happened, and later in the afternoon, the manager called us up to his office and told us about the bombing of Pearl Harbor. But right away, of course, I've always had a lot of respect for the Marine Corps. I think that all of us know that they're the ones that get in there, usually get in there the first, and do their job. So right away I wanted to join the Marines, but I was only 17, and my mother wouldn't sign for me in 1941. So after I turned 18, I was able to go on my own and join the Marines. At the time, I was still, we were going together.
Eleanor lived next door to you.
Yeah, Eleanor lived right next door to us.
You delivered her newspaper.
Yeah,
is that right?
Right, I delivered the newspapers on McQueen.
Eleanor, what did you think, December 7th, 1941, a couple days later? You're dating Chuck Brown, and he's going to go in to the United States Marine Corps, first to fight. Big war going on. What were you thinking about?
So many of his friends within blocks were talking about it too, leaving us, and especially when his brother and both brothers wanted to go. And it's scary. It was scary.
So tell me, you're in the Marine Corps. It's a different world.
Oh, yes.
The world is at war. You're in San Diego, a bunch of unusual people there.
Yeah. All the way in, there's guys outside saying, "You be sorry, you be sorry." Yeah.
But you continue on. Where do you go from San Diego?
Well, they sent 16 of us young guys up to Tongue Point, Oregon, and there was a naval station up there where they had these old PBY airplanes, and then they had a kind of a big hill, like semi-mountain, that was really an ammunition dump, and it was like an island, and the Marines took turns walking around that. There was always somebody, one of us out there, walking it.
It was guard duty then?
Yeah, it was guard duty.
So where did you go from there?
Let's see, we went from guard duty up at Tongue Point down to Camp Pendleton, and that's where the 4th Marine Division was forming at that time. I think when we went from San Diego, we boarded ship and went to the island of Maui.
And so Marines are forming up, and you're going to be sent out from Maui, from Hawaii, with other Marines to where?
The first island we hit was Roy Namur. It was two separate little islands with a causeway between them. The island of Roy, it's R-O-I, had the airfield, and the Namur was strictly the housing and whatever. Our Higgins boat hit the island of Namur, and we went right in toward the biggest concrete building of some kind.
Bunker, yeah.
Yeah, and but we weren't the first ones to hit the beach, and by the time we got in, that had pretty well been silenced.
So from there, you are part of what we now in history we call, it was the island hopping.
Right.
From one to another to another.
Right.
So where next?
We went back, of course, to Maui, and from Maui we went to Saipan. We took Saipan. It was quite a fierce battle. We were pushing the Japanese up toward the end of the island, and I got blown up and thrown over in a field, and one of the guys found me, and I was knocked unconscious, of course, and put me on a Jeep and took me to one of the Jeep took me to the tent hospital they had set up, and they put me on a cot in there, and the doctor was tending to all the guys that were really hurt bad, and came up to me and he said, "What's the matter with you?" I said, "Nothing." He said, "Get the hell out of here." So I did. I got back on that Jeep, and I joined the rest of the company. By that time, we had pretty well pushed the Japanese up toward the end of the island. Well, they evidently figured that we had enough battle experience that the survivors of Saipan were loaded on LSTs, and the LST carried these tanks. But anyhow, that's what we went in to the island of Tinian.
So, Saipan, Tinian, where next?
Well, then, of course, we went back to Maui and regrouped, and then we went into Iwo Jima. Hit the beach on Iwo Jima, and that was where, in the picture, you could not stand up in that volcanic ash. You had to crawl on your belly.
A lot of people think, it was black sand. It was actually particulate volcanic ash, right. And try to express it in today's terms is trying to stand in a box of shipping peanuts.
So Eski and I were able to crawl up and over to, when we shifted off to our right, and there were 2 bunkers up there. Evidently they had been the tunnels leading up to these bunkers, but they were empty and they were not too far apart. But anyhow, the guys boosted him and I up on top of that bunker, and we spent the night up there. And we could hear the enemy. Evidently, like I said, they probably had one of the tunnels leading to that, and we could hear them talking right below us. And we didn't do anything. We didn't throw any grenades or.
There's a little heart thumping going on there, a little concern. So there you are, you and Esky.
Yeah, we spent
pitch
that
dark.
night.
There's some flares going off, I'm guessing, now and then.
Right. Oh yeah.
Occasional,
all night long.
constant gunfire.
Mm-hmm. But then they pulled us down and over to a place where they'd set up kind of a command post. Mm-hmm. And while we had just gotten there, and I think just started to dig what we call this foxhole, but you didn't really get anywhere with that volcanic ash. As
you dug, it would just fall more in.
Right. But at any rate, we just got there and a shell, I don't know whether it was artillery or what, but it hit and it blew me up in the air. And I ended up at the bottom of a hill, and my heel was hurting. I started cutting my shoelaces. I took my knife and corpsman came up and I tried to stand on and I couldn't stand on my foot. And so the corpsman helped me hobble on down to the beach. Fortunately, we got all the way over to the beach and got me on a Higgins boat that was loading up the wounded and putting them on a hospital ship. So I got on the hospital ship, but Esky, who had caught a piece of shrapnel in his hind end, and it cut the nerve to his legs, evidently too. But anyhow, because he was up on the hill yet, he didn't end up down. So it took him a while. By the time he got down to the beach, all the hospital ship was loaded. And so they converted one of the personnel carriers to a hospital ship, and they put him on that.
You know, I have your
picture.
World War II Purple Heart here. Mm-hmm. And there are Purple Hearts and there are Purple Hearts. Everyone that gets one deserves it. But Eleanor and Iwo Jima awarded Purple Heart. You don't mark them, Marine Corps, they're all the same. All the same for everybody. It's just those of us, brothers in bond. And Iwo Jima awarded Purple Heart. It's rather special. Eleanor, you're back in Peoria. You're reading the journal transcript. You're hearing about these Marines and these horrific battles that are taking place, and you know your fiancé is in it. And some days you're going next door and talking to his mother. You're commiserating together. Mm-hmm. You know, a little tea, a little coffee, and kind of worrying together. But you're getting letters. Mm-hmm. You have them in your lap. You saved all of them, 150 plus. Yeah. Open the box and pick one out for me, would you?
Let's see if you can get one out of this.
Let's do this.
The email.
Let me, if I could.
The emails are sort.
If I could.
See if you can read. Yeah.
I have my glasses.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Eleanor Riggins.
Yeah.
That's me. Yeah.
237 McQueen, Peoria, Illinois. Mm-hmm. So this letter, and you know, again for our viewers, is V-mail. The United States military. Chuck writes a letter to Eleanor Riggins on McQueen Avenue, Peoria, Illinois, and it gets reduced in size so that more letters will fit in the bag and more bags will fit in the airplane to send these to what we call stateside. And I'm just going to pick up a couple of sentences out of here. This was written to Eleanor on April 23rd, 1944. I just got off a 3-day problem we had, which in our lingo is, you know, work on compasses and whatever. And,
Right.
and got your letter, got the letter from you today, and they were very nice letters. I'm going to skip down to the bottom. We'll write you a letter pretty soon. I have just been writing these V-mails, and I haven't got much time. I've been receiving your letters. They're swell, and they're real morale builders. They're real morale builders. I love you, Chuck.
That was one thing. At mail call and different places, I think every time I always had at least one letter when I was over.
And so the war is over. Chuck Brown's going to get out of the Marine Corps. What happens then?
Well, Eleanor's dad was a carpenter, and at first I took a job at Pabst Brewery. I think everybody took a job. I worked at Pabst Brewery.
Yes.
But anyhow, I was working there, and one day her dad said, why don't you think about being a carpenter? And I went out and swung a hammer on the garage there a little bit, and her dad got me an apprenticeship with a contractor named Fred Mast here in Peoria, and I learned the carpenter trade.
You know, we're heading towards closing this out here. Emphasize a couple things. What a great privilege and honor to be in your living room and hear this story. Off camera here, your daughter's here.
Right.
Your son-in-law's here.
Right.
Your grandkids are here.
And their great-grandkids.
And great-grandkids. And they're listening proudly to all of this. I want to close this out with something. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Adventure Sports Outdoors, brought to you in part by Corsaw Lumber, manufacturers of quality hardwood products, buyers of standing timber in Smithfield. Central Pool Supply, everything from pools to pool tables and much more in Peoria on West Pioneer Parkway. Michael O'Brien Commercial Real Estate and Recreational Ground, Remax Unlimited Commercial. Kelleher's Irish Pub and Eatery, located on Peoria's riverfront, open 11 a.m. daily. And by Allwyn & Sons Meat Company. Our thanks to all of these sponsors.
Doc Harrell and Chuck Brown, two fine examples of great Americans and why they call them the greatest generation. We'll see you next month.